What's up, everybody? So continuing on with more insight as to how all these things work. In this video, we're going to be talking about lease agreements, installments, and then Sprint's flex agreement. This is another section of where customers feel like, that they're not being explained everything. So in this video, I'm going to explain everything to the best that I can for people out there to understand how all this works. Because there are people who really don't feel like they have to honor an agreement. Especially in society today, we don't teach, young ones and whatnot that agreements have to be honored. If you make a promise, if you sign a contract, you have to honor that. You have to complete what you said you were going to complete, or deal with the repercussions, consequences of breaking the contract. And a lot of people don't understand that. So I'm going to clear that up in this video to kind of help people understand. So when they're contacting Sprint customer care and they're upset, they'll at least have some form of knowledge of how these leases and installments and flex agreement works. So there are three different ones that Sprint has. They have a lease, they have installments, they have flex agreements. Now, I'm going to explain each one and why they exist. Okay. So leases were created. All three were created basically because they got away from doing 2-year contracts where you bought a phone at a subsidized price and you were committed for 2 years of your time with that company, and if you left, you got an early termination fee. Now, the idea did not really go away. What they did was that rather than contracting you over time, now you have a commitment over a phone. Since smartphones are expensive, they're ranging anywhere between $50 to $1,000. So the agreement is over the hardware and no longer just a contract of time. Now the lease agreement, to start off with that one, why that one was created, why it exists. The idea for the lease agreement, it's that it was made for the consumer who didn't want to keep the phone that they were using. They always wanted to be on the latest and greatest. And so to do that, they would go into a store, they would get a phone, upgrade to a phone, they would do a lease. Now the lease lasted for 18 months, so a year and a half. At the year and a half, they could surrender the device back over to Sprint and then upgrade to the latest new phone that's out around that time. That's really what it was for. Now, they did have checks and balances in place because obviously, not everyone's really careful with their phones. So there was an end of lease purchase amount, which is also known as a, device damage fee. So over 18 months, if you didn't fully keep your phone protected and you didn't take care of it, and you upgraded to a new phone and you surrendered a broken phone back, you would get charged a damage fee. But there's also, people have a change of heart. Some people may, lease a phone and say, I absolutely love this phone and I'm not looking to upgrade for another 2 or 3 years. Well, so you're not making month-to-month payments. They had an end of lease purchase amount where if you bought the phone, if you purchased it, you owned the phone basically. So 18 months you leased it. End of lease purchase amount means you own it, and that's pretty much it. If you chose to own the phone, you would still have to pay the remaining lease charges and the purchase amount, because basically the way that the phone is leased is that the 18-month payment is a percentage of the full suggested retail price. The remaining balance, which is the purchase amount at the end of the lease, is the remaining percentage, which combined together comes out to what the full suggested retail price at the time of sale that the device is valued at. And normally with leasing, the amount that you pay total is a few dollars less than the actual full suggested retail price. So if it's like $598 for the phone at full suggested retail price, if you lease the phone and then you pay the purchase amount at the end of the lease, it may be like like $590 or $592, around that level. Now people expect sometimes that when the end of purchase amount, like the end of lease purchase, like say that they bought a phone in January 2017, valued at $500, and then February 2018, the phone goes for $300. People want those agreements adjusted. That's not going to happen because when you got the phone at time of purchase, the value of the phone was at X amount of dollars. It's not going to be adjusted just because time depreciated the value of the phone. It may seem unfair to some people, but then again, look at it from this context. I always like to use these. If you sold a car for $10,000 in January 2017 to somebody and they were making payments to you, and come February 2018, the value of the car is no longer $10,000, say it's $7,000, are you going to allow the customer to tell you that they're not going to pay you $10,000 because the value of the car is $7,000 at the time, and that they're not going to honor the original agreement? No, you're going to want your 10 grand. So, I mean, that's how it works. Installments is a little bit different. Installments, basically, it's, Sprint recognizing that you don't have all the money for the phone up front. So if you want to buy an iPhone 10 for like $998, you don't have $998, hey, that's fine. Sprint recognizes that, not everyone can drop $1,000 on a piece of hardware. So they'll work with you. They'll take that $998, they'll break it over 24 payments, and you can pay it over 24 months. Now, the thing with that is that if you cancel your line of service, the remaining balance of your installments is going to be accelerated to your bill. You have to pay it right then and there before they cancel. Now, the reason why you have to pay it before they cancel is because obviously if they cancel the line, then the account shuts down. The agreement is forfeited, right? Sprint loses out that money. You just got away with not having to pay the remaining balance. So in order to pay, for Sprint to recover, to make sure that they get paid for the amount of the phone that you agreed to buy, they accelerate the remaining months. Now, also too, you have to pay the remaining months if you cancel line of service with Sprint and you have installment billing on one of the devices. In order for you to get that phone unlocked to go to another provider, you have to pay that off. So, flex agreements. Flex agreement basically was brought in because people were getting confused. Store reps were, confused with the leases and installments, and they were combining both. Mind you, may I make a very, very one point here is that if you're on one of the older leases and a store rep told you, yeah, at the end of the 18 months, you'll switch into month to month, just pay the month to month for 6 months and you own the phone, that's not true. With the older lease agreements, if you did not upgrade or buy out the phone at the end of the 18-month lease term, because we can't predict what your decision is, we charge what's called a month-to-month, which is just what it is. It's a month-to-month charge. You're not on a committed agreement anymore. You fulfilled your agreement, but you haven't made a decision. You haven't given us back the phone, so it's like a rental fee. We're going to continue to charge month to month until you make a decision whether you're going to upgrade to a new phone or buy out the phone. Now, if you let it go 6 months, that's on you. You can't get mad at the fact that, we can't guess what your mind is thinking. So we wouldn't know if you wanted to buy the phone or not. So know that month-to-month charges does not pay off the phone on older leases. Now, on the flex agreement, what it did was it took installment billing, it took leases, and it combined them together. How this works is you lease a phone for 18 months. At the 16th month, you will get notified from Sprint. Trust me, we do, because we can see the emails we send out to you. We can see the auto-generated emails, and we can also see on your bill. So at the 16th month, we tell you, hey, you got 2 months left with this phone. What would you like to do? Would you like to upgrade to a new phone? Would you like to buy out the phone? Now, say you decided that you wanted to buy out the phone and the end of lease purchase amount was $200, but you didn't have $200 to pay at the end of the lease agreement. What we will do then is, rather than on the old lease where we did a month-to-month charge because it was like a rental fee, with the flex agreement, you can break up the end of lease purchase amount in 6 payments to pay off the phone. So that's really where it changes. Other than that, it's still a lease agreement, and if you choose to surrender the phone back and it's broken, you will be charged a device damage fee. So with these agreements, what does it exactly mean? It means basically when you signed the agreement, you signed to it. So if you cancel your account with Sprint early, the accelerated charges are valid. You agreed to pay for a phone over 18 months. These are the monthly payments. That isn't an agreement. That is a contract, obviously. And just like anything else, it needs to be honored. So hopefully this video basically broke down what lease agreements, installments, and the flex agreement with Sprint is. And if you guys have any more questions about it, you guys definitely can leave a comment in the comment section of the video. I'll be more than happy to answer it a little bit more better if I didn't in this video. But yeah, thanks for watching this series, and yeah, I'll see you on the next one.